Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep today into financial success stories. You know, those stories about real people with real journeys, achieving some pretty incredible things with their money.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And hopefully we can pull out some, nuggets of wisdom that maybe we can apply to our own lives, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it's funny because what making it looks like, for me, could be completely different for you.
Totally.
And before we even jump into these stories, it's worth thinking about that. Like, what does financial success actually look like for you?
Yeah.
Is it being debt-free? Is it early retirement? Is it, starting a business that, changes the world?
Yeah. Is it leaving a legacy? Is it,
exactly,
providing for your family? There are so many different ways to define it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the inspiration for today's deep dive is this awesome piece called Financial Success Stories, Lessons and Inspiration from Real Life Journeys. And just skimming through it, I was blown away by the sheer variety of these stories.
Yeah.
You've got people who escaped, crushing debt.
Right.
People who built businesses from, nothing.
Yeah.
To, these huge empires.
Amazing.
And people who managed to retire decades early.
It is. It's really inspiring.
Yeah, it is. And it shows you that there are so many different paths.
Right.
To that feeling of I made it.
And that's what's so encouraging. These aren't these overnight riches lottery winners or anything like that.
Right.
These are regular people.
Yeah.
Who through their own actions, their own deliberate choices, have managed to totally transform their financial lives.
Yeah, it's about taking control.
Exactly.
It's empowering, right?
Absolutely. And what's so fascinating is that even though each story is unique, we start to see these patterns emerge.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so let's dig into these recurring themes a little bit. What are some of the common denominators you noticed across these stories? What are the things that these people all seem to share in their journeys?
Well, one that jumps out immediately is just this ability to overcome adversity.
Okay.
A lot of these people, they started from a place of struggle, whether it was job loss, overwhelming debt, feeling like they had limited income.
Right. Very relatable thing.
Very relatable.
Honestly, for a lot of people.
But what set them apart was that they refused to let those obstacles define them. They took action.
Yeah.
Even if it's just small steps at first to turn things around.
So it's about that resilience.
Exactly.
That grit to keep going even when things are tough.
When the going gets tough.
Yeah, exactly.
And, along with that tenacity, we see this importance of financial literacy.
Okay.
These folks didn't just stumble into success.
Right.
They actively sought out knowledge. They learned about budgeting, investing, debt management.
Yeah.
They equipped themselves with the skills that they needed to make smart choices with their money.
So it's not about luck. It's not about being born into wealth.
Right.
It's about actually
it's about taking control.
Yeah, taking control and educating yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I think so many people struggle with just getting started with personal finance.
Absolutely, right.
It can feel so overwhelming. Where do you even begin?
Right. And that's why, what we see in these stories is the power of actually applying that knowledge.
Yeah.
So, for example, we see folks adopting specific budgeting methods.
Okay.
Like the classic 50-30-20 rule.
Oh, yeah.
Where you allocate 50% of your income to needs,
right,
30% to wants, and then 20% to savings and debt repayment.
Yeah. So it's not about deprivation.
Right.
It's about being
exactly
conscious about where your money's going.
What about conscious spending?
Yeah. Okay. That makes total sense. But, let's be real. Getting your finances in shape often involves at least some level of sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
Was that something that you saw?
Absolutely.
Huh? Yeah.
The ability to delay gratification, I think, is huge.
Okay.
Yeah. They were willing to make those short-term sacrifices for long-term gain.
Right.
Whether that meant, cutting back on some unnecessary expenses.
Yeah.
Taking on a side hustle to boost their income.
Yeah.
Or sticking to a strict debt repayment plan.
So it's about playing the long game.
Exactly.
Right. Prioritizing those future goals, even when there are tempting distractions in the present.
You got it.
Yeah.
And this kind of ties into another really powerful theme that emerges.
Okay.
Which is that entrepreneurial spirit.
Oh, yeah.
So many of these individuals, they created their own success by starting businesses or side hustles. They identified needs in the market.
Yeah.
They tapped into their own passions and their skills.
Yeah.
And they took calculated risks to turn those ideas into reality.
And it's not just about like creating these multi-million-dollar companies.
Yes.
We see people like turning their hobbies into like thriving side businesses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Using platforms like Etsy, offering freelance services. It's really about finding those creative ways to generate income and to control your financial destiny.
It's that turn your passion into profit kind of thing.
Exactly.
But it's also, I think, about more than just the extra income, right? It's about that feeling of empowerment.
Absolutely.
Like you're taking control of your situation.
You're taking control of your financial life.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got resilience, we've got education, we've got that discipline, we've got the hustle of the entrepreneurial spirit. What else stood out to you as like a key element in these financial success stories?
Well, it might sound obvious, but I think the importance of long-term thinking really can't be overstated. Financial success for most of these folks wasn't about getting rich quick.
Right.
It was about consistently investing. Letting compound interest work its magic over time.
Yeah.
And building wealth gradually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that takes a lot of patience.
Oh, absolutely.
Which maybe isn't like the sexiest quality, but seems pretty crucial here.
It's essential.
Yeah.
And we see so many examples of this. People who started investing early, even if it was just small amounts.
Yeah.
And stuck with it. They rode out those market ups and downs.
Yeah.
They understood that time is like a powerful ally in the world of investing.
Yeah.
So we see people steadily building wealth through those consistent contributions to, retirement accounts, to low-cost index funds.
Okay, cool. So we've got like a good grasp on those big picture themes here.
Yeah.
Are you ready to dive into some like specific examples?
I'm ready.
See these principles in action.
Let's do it.
I know. I'm really curious to hear like how these folks tackled debt, built their businesses, achieved that financial independence.
Let's start with the debt to freedom stories.
All right, let's do it.
I mean, these are so relatable.
Yeah.
They really show that even when you're starting from a place of feeling totally overwhelmed, there's a way out.
Yeah, there is hope.
There is.
Okay, cool.
But it's not about magic solutions.
Yeah.
It's about consistent effort.
Okay, so spill the beans.
Yeah, man.
Like, what were some of the strategies that these debt slayers used that actually worked for them?
Well, one common one is the snowball method.
Okay, yeah.
Popularized by Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
And basically they list out all their debts from like smallest to largest, regardless of the interest rate. And then they attack that smallest one.
Got it.
With a vengeance, while making minimum payments on everything else.
Yeah.
And then once that first debt is gone, they roll that payment amount onto the next smallest debt.
Yeah.
And it creates this like snowball effect of,
Oh, it's like a psychological thing.
Exactly.
Like you get that momentum going.
Exactly. You get that win.
Yeah.
And it keeps you motivated.
Yeah. And you feel good about it.
Exactly.
Now, I've heard people argue that you should prioritize like the high interest debt first.
Right.
To save money on like the interest charges.
Exactly. And that's known as the avalanche method.
Okay.
And it definitely, makes sense mathematically.
Yeah.
But it's really about finding, I think, the approach that works best for you and your personality.
Yeah, like some people need those.
Some people need those quick wins.
Yes. Yeah, those quick wins to stay motivated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally. But regardless of the method, what's crucial is that commitment to making more than just the minimum payments.
Yeah, like actually putting in the extra effort to get rid of that.
Right, exactly. Yeah. You got to be intentional.
I imagine a lot of it comes down to like being really intentional with your spending, right? Like, did these folks have any like tips on how they actually found like that extra money to throw at their debt?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of them really embraced frugality.
Okay.
Not as a punishment, but like as a challenge.
Okay.
They got creative with their meal planning, explored like free or low-cost entertainment options.
Yeah.
Negotiated lower bills, found ways to, make their existing belongings last longer.
So like a mindset shift.
Exactly.
It's like instead of like, I can't afford that, it's like, how can I make this work?
How can I make this work?
Within the budget I have.
Yeah, within my budget.
Right. What about side hustles? We talked about that entrepreneurial spirit earlier.
Yeah.
Did these folks, did they use that to like generate extra cash for debt repayment?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
We see stories of people turning like their passions into side gigs.
Okay.
Everything from like freelance writing and graphic design to like dog walking and selling handmade crafts online.
Okay.
It's really about leveraging, whatever skills and interests you have to create new income streams.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's not just about the money though, right? It's about that feeling of like...
It's about feeling empowered.
Yeah, you're in control.
Exactly. I'm calling the shots.
Yeah, you're taking control.
This is my life, and I'm going to,
Yeah, you got this.
make it happen.
You got it.
Okay, cool. Another interesting thing that came up in the research was like the emotional side of debt.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like a lot of these folks talked about the shame.
The stress, that came with feeling trapped by their financial situation,
Absolutely.
And it was interesting how they described how just making progress, even small steps, it had a huge impact on like their mental well-being.
It's like a weight was lifted.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of feeling lighter, let's switch gears a bit and talk about a movement that's all about achieving financial freedom. The FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early, which is something that I know a lot of people are curious about.
Yeah.
But it's a captivating concept. It is, right?
Yeah.
What intrigues you most about it?
Well, I think it's the idea of having the freedom to choose how you spend your time.
Yeah.
Not being tied to a job.
Yeah.
Just to pay the bills. That's going to be incredibly liberating.
Yeah.
But to achieve that level of financial independence must take, some serious dedication.
Yeah, for sure.
What do these stories reveal about how people actually pull it off?
Well, at its core, FIRE is about two things. Aggressive saving and smart investing.
Okay.
So we're talking about saving a significant portion of your income, often like 50% or more.
Wow.
And investing it wisely to grow your wealth.
50% or more. That's a huge chunk.
Yeah. I mean, that requires some serious lifestyle adjustments, I imagine.
It does.
Right.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
FIRE enthusiasts are known for their, their frugal lifestyles.
Okay.
They're incredibly intentional with their spending.
Yeah.
They prioritize experiences over material possessions and constantly seek out ways to like optimize their expenses.
Okay.
They embrace this idea that less stuff often equals more freedom.
So it's not just like penny pinching. It's about like reevaluating what truly matters to you.
Exactly.
And aligning your spending with those values.
Yeah, you had...
Okay, cool. And on the investing side, they tend to focus on building these diversified portfolios.
Yeah.
Often with a heavy emphasis on like index funds,
right,
which are basically like these baskets of stocks that track, a specific market index, like the S&P 500, and that provides, like broad market exposure and generally lower fees compared to like actively managed funds.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a set it and forget it.
Like set it and forget it
approach in a lot of ways.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense for long-term growth. But FIRE design is about more than just accumulating wealth, right?
Right.
It's about reaching that point where your investments can actually generate enough passive income to cover your expenses.
Yeah.
So how do they figure that out?
Well, that's where that 4% rule comes in.
Okay.
It's this guideline that suggests you can safely withdraw 4% of your retirement portfolio each year without depleting your principal. So to achieve FIRE, you need to build a portfolio that's large enough to cover your annual expenses.
Okay.
With that 4% withdrawal rate.
So, like, if you needed, let's say, $40,000 a year to live, you would need a portfolio of at least $1 million.
Yeah.
That's quite a target.
It is.
But I'm guessing there's, like, different approaches within the FIRE movement.
There are.
Right.
You've got Lean FIRE, which focuses on, like, extreme frugality and early retirement with a smaller nest egg.
Yeah.
And then you've got fat fire. Where people are aiming for, more of a luxurious retirement with a larger portfolio.
So it's all about like what you're aiming for.
It's about your goals, your risk tolerance.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love that there's different like flavors of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just like this
one size fits all.
One size fits all. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I think it's inspiring to see people taking control of their financial future and crafting like lifestyles that truly align with their values, And while like extreme frugality might not be for everyone, the principles of FIRE, that saving diligently, investing wisely, I mean, that can benefit anyone.
Absolutely.
Regardless of like your retirement goals.
Yeah, you got it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So while aggressive saving is key to FIRE, another really powerful wealth-building avenue is real estate.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we see this theme kind of pop up in these stories as well, with people achieving financial success through property investments.
For sure.
All right, so let's talk real estate.
Let's do it.
It's always been something that's like fascinated me, but also felt kind of intimidating.
Yeah.
Like where do you even start?
Right.
Right. What did you learn from these real estate success stories?
Well, one recurring theme is the power of starting small.
Okay.
A lot of these folks, they didn't begin with like these grand schemes of becoming like property tycoons.
Right.
They started with a single rental property.
Okay.
Maybe a duplex.
Yeah.
A small apartment building. Something that they could, manage and understand.
So it's about taking those first steps, gaining experience, and then gradually building up your portfolio.
You got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And another key principle is leveraging debt strategically.
Okay.
Right. So they often use mortgages to finance their purchases, which allows them to like control more assets with a smaller upfront investment.
Exactly.
Now, of course, this comes with risk. So like careful planning and analysis is crucial.
Absolutely.
Right. They ran the numbers, making sure the rental income would cover those mortgage payments and other expenses.
Yeah, you got to make sure it cash flows.
Yeah, exactly. I'm guessing they had to get really good at like evaluating properties.
Oh, yeah.
Understanding the local market.
Absolutely.
Right.
They did their research. They analyzed neighborhoods, rental rates, property values, potential for appreciation.
So they weren't just buying any property.
Right.
They were looking for like opportunities where the numbers made sense.
Exactly.
And the potential for like cash flow and appreciation was strong.
You got it.
So it's about being like savvy investors, not just landlords.
Yeah, you're not just collecting rent.
Yeah.
You're building a business.
You're running a business.
Yeah.
Did they talk about like any specific strategies that worked well for them?
Yeah, one common approach is the buy and hold strategy.
Okay.
They purchase properties with the intention of holding them long term.
Okay.
Generating that rental income.
Yeah.
And benefiting from appreciation over time.
Got it.
Others focus on flipping, buying properties that need work, renovating them, and then selling them for a profit.
So there's different like paths to success in real estate.
There are.
Just like in any other field, right?
Absolutely.
It's about finding the strategy that aligns with your skills, your resources, your risk tolerance.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready to explore another fascinating avenue to financial success?
I'm ready. What is it?
The stock market.
Oh, yeah, the stock market. It can be so intimidating for so many people.
It can be, yeah.
But these stories about everyday people, building wealth through the market, it's really inspiring.
Yeah, for sure. What are some of the like common threads that you saw in these investing success stories?
One that comes to mind is just the power of compound growth.
Okay.
We see examples of people who just consistently invested in the stock market.
Yeah.
Often through like low-cost index funds and just let their money grow over decades.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that you don't have to be like a Wall Street expert to get started.
You don't need to have a ton of money.
You don't.
To start investing.
Exactly.
So even like small regular contributions can add up over time, especially if you start early.
Time is your greatest ally when it comes to investing.
Yeah.
We see stories about like young adults who started investing small amounts in their 20s and end up with like significant nest eggs by the time they hit retirement.
Wow.
the earlier you start, the more time that money has to grow.
Yeah.
And that's where that magic of compound interest really kicks in.
Can you explain compound interest in a way that like I can understand? Because sometimes it feels like this financial jargon that's like totally goes over my head.
It's a pretty simple concept.
Okay.
It's basically interest earned on interest.
Okay.
So like, say you invest $100 and you earn 10% interest in the first year.
Okay.
Now you have $110.
Okay.
In the second year, you earn 10% on that $110.
Got it.
Which is $11. So now you have $121.
Okay.
So the money you earn starts earning its own interest.
Right.
And over time, that can be exponential.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's like a snowball rolling downhill. It keeps getting bigger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why starting early is so crucial, you know?
Yeah.
The more time you give that snowball to roll, the more massive it becomes.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Okay. These stories also emphasize the importance of diversification.
Yes.
Which is just a fancy way of saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
So not putting all your money into a single stock or asset class.
Right. So by spreading your investments across different types of assets, you know, stocks, bonds, real estate, you reduce that risk of losing everything if, like, one particular investment tanks.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And index funds, which you mentioned before.
Yeah.
Those are a great way to kind of achieve diversification.
They are, because you have a basket of different stocks.
Right. You're not just betting on like one particular company.
Exactly.
Okay. These stories really drive home the point that investing isn't about like getting rich quick. It's about patience, discipline.
It's about the long game.
It's about the long game.
Yeah.
And it's also about staying the course even when the market gets bumpy.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Like we saw examples of people who weathered stock market crashes.
Yeah.
Recessions.
Yeah.
But they didn't panic and sell all their investments.
Right.
They understood that like market fluctuations are normal.
They are.
And that like over the long term, the stock market tends to go up.
It does. It trends upwards over time.
So it's about like writing out those dips. And then reaping the rewards in the end.
Exactly. It takes discipline and, you know, a little bit of faith in that overall upward trend.
Okay, cool. Well, let's shift gears a bit and explore another dimension of financial success that's often overlooked.
All right. What's that?
Philanthropy.
Oh, yeah.
We see several stories of people who achieve that financial security and then use their resources to give back, make a positive impact.
Absolutely.
On the world. And this is something I'm like really passionate about.
Yeah.
I love this idea that, you know, financial success isn't just about personal gain.
It's about making a difference.
It's about making a difference.
Yeah.
What were some of the like inspiring ways that you saw folks incorporating giving back into their financial journeys?
Well, some people focused on like traditional philanthropy, you know.
Okay.
Donating to charities, supporting causes they cared about, establishing foundations, that sort of thing.
Okay.
But we also see examples of people like incorporating social impact into their investing strategies.
Oh, interesting.
You know, choosing to invest in companies or organizations that are aligned with their values.
So putting their money where their heart is.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, impact investing is becoming increasingly popular.
Yeah.
And it allows people to really align those financial goals with their desire to make a positive impact.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
We also saw stories of people using their wealth to empower others.
Yeah.
You know, like providing scholarships for underprivileged students or funding programs that promote a financial literacy in their communities. Ah, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's inspiring to see people using their financial success to create like that ripple effect of good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a reminder that true wealth isn't just about money, it's about
making a difference.
Making a difference, yeah.
Yeah.
Well said.
Well, as we wrap up our deep dive into these financial success stories, what are some of the key takeaways that resonate with you?
You know, I'm just struck by the sheer diversity of paths to success, you know.
Absolutely.
We've seen people achieve financial security through frugality, entrepreneurship, real estate, investing,
Yeah.
even giving back.
Right.
And it's clear that there's no like one-size-fits-all formula.
There's no magic bullet.
Yeah, there's no magic bullet.
Yeah.
But regardless of like the specific path, there are these common threads, right?
There are?
That weave these stories together.
Yeah. What do you see?
Well, like we talked about financial literacy, resilience, long-term thinking, the willingness to learn and adapt.
Yeah, you got to be willing to learn.
Yeah, exactly.
And grow.
And perhaps, like, most importantly, just that belief that financial success is achievable, no matter your starting point.
It is.
You know, it's about setting goals, making a plan, and then, like, taking those consistent steps forward.
You got it. Well, that about wraps it up for our deep dive into financial success stories. It's been a pleasure exploring these inspiring journeys with you. And remember, no matter where you are on your financial journey, the power to create your own success story lies within you. So keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving towards those goals. Until next time, keep those financial fires burning.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us.